we're live?
We're on air. Official, finally.
All right, I was being banned on Twitter.
Sorry, we don't know what was going on with that little delay, but we're on. I'm Mike Straus, a.k.a. Straus21. That's Taje Mahal. We're the guys from the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I want to make this quick for you guys because it is just about midnight here.
And I'm turned.
And he's turned. I'm not. So let's get to it here. We're going to do a quick little UFC 224, Bellator 199 wrap up. Just a little post show what we thought of the night of fights, because believe it or not, we usually don't watch fights together.
No, we don't always get a chance to. But you know what? I really enjoyed it. We need to do it more often.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. So let's go for it. UFC 224. Amanda Nunes just beat the shit out of Raquel Pennington.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like the way that the fight ended. She beat her to a pulp. She said at the end, if you didn't have a chance to hear her, she said at the end of round 4 she was done. She had enough. Her corner essentially talked her into continuing, and she proceeded to get her butt kicked for that round. But she did have her moments even in that round.
She did. She was really.
The end was pretty nasty.
It was. She was really good at counter striking. You saw her counter with a couple really good hooks. It looked like Amanda Nunes did fear her hands to an extent because she wasn't.
She earned some respect.
Yeah, she wasn't bull rushing in, but Amanda Nunes was smart. I'm very upset about this, and I want to make this clear. I almost cried at the end, right when she went back into that fight, and when her nose essentially exploded on the canvas. When a fighter says she is done, she is done. You stop that fight. This game, beyond any game, is about heart. You have to be in it 100%. Mm-hmm. And for her coach to see in her eyes that she's not in this against a killer like Amanda Nunes and to say, oh, just give it all you got, she's already done that.
Well, I don't know if he saw that in her eyes because he let her continue.
Then he is not a good coach, and he should not be cornering. She should not have been out there.
Maybe she did have more. I don't know. What if she would have went out there and knocked her out?
There's that point.
But debate to have.
But when a fighter says she's done, I saw it in her eyes. I knew it was going to be a knockout. I knew it was done. I knew.
Easy for you to say after the fact, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a debate to have. Right or wrong. Amanda Nunes is still the champion.
Yeah, she is. She's a beast.
Most people thought she was going to be, but Pennington gave her some scares there. So that was
she really did.
A decent little fight. And then the co-main event kind of surprised me because Kelvin Gastelum just finds a way to get it done, I guess, man. I don't know. I hope this is his last fight at middleweight. Though.
No, it's not. He's never going back. He called out the champ, man, and he has a legit case. You know what's scary? He has a scary case that if Robert Whittaker wins, it could be him versus Robert Whittaker for the middleweight division.
It might be.
And he has a case for that, and that is scary.
I don't know. I'm not even looking past Whittaker and Romero here in Chicago.
Chi-Town. What's up?
I can't wait. It's going to be a good fight. But what did you think of the Souza and Gastelum fight? I thought it was a good back and forth war.
It was a great fight, and I was saying it all week. And you know who talked me into it? Chael Sonnen. Because Chael Sonnen continued to talk his guy up, and for some reason he was right. Just something about Gastelum. He just competes.
Yeah, I like Gastelum. I always have. I own one of his shirts, and I don't know many guys' shirts.
No, you don't. You're very picky.
Yeah, Gastelum's a good dude. I just wish he was at 170 because I don't think he can really compete with the elite at 185.
He just competed with Jacare, man.
I just don't think Jacare is elite anymore. Jacare is fantastic. I think he's a top 10 guy. I just don't think he's elite. And I don't know.
What if Gastelum wins the title, man?
Well, then he does. I'm just saying, I mean, that's a lot of what ifs. I don't think Gastelum can compete with the elite at 185. I still think he's way too small, and I don't want to see him compete there anymore.
Yeah.
And then let's go over to Bellator 199 real quick here. Bader and King Mo. We're going kind of in the chronological order.
You called it. You looked at me and said, don't blink.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figured someone would go to sleep, right?
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a longer fight, but you called it. You looked at me, don't blink, and I didn't blink. Yeah. And Ryan Bader needs to stay away from me.
Well, I didn't even think it was going to be 15 seconds. I can't, take credit for that. But I told you that King Mo really doesn't have a chin, and you saw it. I'm not taking anything away from Bader. Bader's got crazy power. I said it beforehand. But King Mo, having stood next to him, he's not a very big guy in the first place. No. He has a hard time keeping weight on. Bader is a thick, strong, and King Mo is a strong guy too. I'm not saying that, but these last few years, King Mo can't take a hit like he used to. So And yeah, it's going to be interesting because now that sets up Matt Mitrione and Ryan Bader. And
So weird. I never thought I would hear those words.
What do you think?
I don't know what I think, man. This is a weird matchup. This is a
like
weird heavyweight.
I really like that.
I like the fight, but I never thought I would hear Ryan Bader versus Matt Mitrione ever in my life.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's going to be fun. Obviously, Mitrione is going to have a fucking huge size advantage.
But Ryan Bader's a hell of a wrestler and athlete.
And he even said it. He said, I hope you're going to wrestling school after the fight. And how about Fitch, speed of wrestling, Fitch and Daly, man?
Our boy Fitch.
That was a crazy fight, though, man. Round 1 was scary if you're a Fitch fan or a Fitch guy, right?
Yeah.
John Fitch, because, man, he really put a lot of effort into getting Daly down. And Daly showed a hell of takedown, fucking so much improved takedown defense by Daly.
For 1 minute.
Man, no, he managed to pretty much stay on the feet that whole round. The first round, he only hit the ground a few seconds, got back up, and then you saw what he did with the last 45 seconds, that flurry, and then that was it. Then John Fitch said, fuck it, he's going to figure out a way to get him down, and he did.
He did a good job, man.
The crowd was really booing here, but that was a typical John Fitch fight.
Not only was the crowd booing, so was Paul Daly.
Yeah, how about that? That was interesting.
That was hilarious.
That's interesting. What do you think of that?
I don't think Paul Daly knows the rules of MMA. He's like, boo. It's like, no, this is a part of it. Learn how to get away from it.
It is interesting, though. I agree with you. You know, you should figure out, hey, if you don't like it, then stop bitching and moaning and figure out. If you don't like it, figure out a way to fucking get around it.
That was the classic George St. Pierre kind of argument. Mm-hmm. You don't like it, figure it out.
The thing, though, it's brilliant by Daly because all he's doing there is trying to fucking get the crowd on his side and trying to get in Fitch's head.
You're not getting in Fitch's head.
Right. You're not getting in Fitch's head. But
that's not what's happening.
Not everybody is bulletproof like Fitch, and we'll have Fitch back on pretty soon, probably maybe sometime this coming week or the week after. Definitely.
I want to hear the unedited version of what he said to Fitch.
So do I.
It was it was so loud. Yeah. Man, it was so loud that even they had to bleep it out.
And then how about Amanda Cooper, Mackenzie Dern? I know, I thought Cooper would win this even before that bullshit 7-pound fiasco that Dern, that lack of respect she has for the sport.
Yeah.
But Dern really showed a lot to me in this fight. She looked good on the feet, which was surprising. She caught her, and then, of course, she finished her.
She put all 7 pounds that she was over into that punch.
She was surprising, though.
She was. Her striking technique to get into that punch did look pretty, but the actual throwing of the punch was pretty.
Yeah.
Because she was very flat-footed. She didn't look that crisp. Amanda Cooper looked very crisp.
But let me ask you, man, if you're the UFC going forward, you just straight up tell her, listen, you cannot compete at 115 anymore. You got 125 is your weight class.
I think you have one more chance with her with a small.
So you give her another chance at 115.
Because for some reason I feel like this was intentional.
I think
Dominic Cruz said it, and I kind of agree with him in the rationale that he has, because as someone who has grappled his whole life, 7 pounds means something.
And then, as you pointed out, if that was at weigh-in, she's probably another 10 pounds on top of that at least.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that she definitely. I wonder if she can actually make the fight, because she made the weight before. I think she can do it again. I think she did this intentionally.
Yeah.
Because a win kind of seems a little bit better than getting, you take 30% of my purse, cool, but I'm still in the UFC.
Yeah, it's 30%, as you pointed out. That's a win. And her last disclosed payday, Mackenzie Dern's, was 25 and 25, so 30% of 50 is pretty good. She's obviously not getting she's probably getting the same for this. So.
And if she gets a performance bonus, which I don't think she will, because this was a full pack, but the UFC does like to favor people.
Yeah, certain people. And then let's flip back over to Bellator 199. Aaron Pico, Lee Morrison. Aaron Pico just continues to impress. We're going to try to get him on. He's been on once before, thanks to his head coach, Antonio McKee.
Aaron Pico
was just a fucking man. Aaron Pico is amazing. Just continues to impress.
Body shots.
Liver, solar plexus, right in that general area. His second one like that now. The kid's fucking impressive, man.
I'm scared of that, man.
He just continues to get better, and I'm telling you, I've been saying for just about a year now, that team body shop that Antonio McKee is building with his son, Baby Slice, and then, of course, Aaron Pico. Man, They really got something special down there. I really believe that.
Well, I thought they had something special after seeing Baby Slice because I was like, Baby Slice is all right, but then he came out with a really great performance.
Very good.
And then now Aaron Pico, he actually looks better than he did before. And then that's saying a lot.
And then, of course, we're not even talking about Antonio McKee Jr.
Oh, who's just a tank.
Yeah, amazing. And then real quick, how about Chet Congo, Javier Ayala? This fight didn't go exactly how I thought it would. And let me just preface this by saying I was under the impression that Javier Ayala was going to take that step because if you're him, man, you have such a fantastic opportunity in Bellator to really grab this thing and run within Bellator heavyweight division. It's really lacking. I guess he wasn't that guy because Chet Congo, he looked terrible in that fight. Not Chet Congo, Javier looked terrible. And Chet Congo really...
He actually looked good.
He kind of did, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm going to say two things. Javier, man, you had me believe in the hype for a second.
I believed it.
And only because I was like, oh, well, he had a tough fight against Roy Nelson. He looks like a tough dude.
Exactly.
First thing I noticed, was he injured? That's what I want to find out first. Because
he's had that, you're talking
that dragging back leg.
Yeah, he's had that in other fights.
Okay, he needs to clear that up. Secondly, this is my second little thing. Can Chet Congo make a case to be the guy for the title after this whole thing?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. I think if Scott Coker isn't going to make Chet Congo an alternate in the heavyweight tournament, then yes, I think he's probably going to be the first guy that gets to crack the heavyweight tournament.
That's super weird.
And then you pointed out he would be about 44 years old, give or take.
Yeah.
About that time.
That is super weird. I never thought that
makes sense.
Tonight's been a weird night, okay?
Definitely. And then we'll go back over to UFC 224, John Lineker and Brian Kelleher. This was a slugfest, a crazy slugfest.
Holy shit.
Wow, it lasted, and it did last. In the third round, finally, John Lineker would go to the body with the right and come on top with the left. Picture perfect, man. If you're going to teach someone how to go body head, that's the knockout to watch. Great fight all around. This probably is going to win fight of the night. I don't know. There was a couple really good ones.
There were some really great. Now,
this was a fantastic fight, though.
Anybody wants to wonder how we got our name? It's fights like that have me saying, "Did you see that shit?" Mm-hmm. Holy fight! That was
both guys.
God damn! And then John Lineker with that last flurry for the KO, man.
Yeah, and those guys at 135, man, it's just like the gift that keeps giving. All those fights, And then let's go back to the curtain jerker, Bellator 189 Carrington Banks against Adam Piccolotti. This did not go exactly the way I thought it would. I knew this was going to be a really, really tough fight. One of the harder ones for me to really decide who I wanted. I ultimately went with Banks. Banks lost the fight. Piccolotti takes it. And this was interesting, man, because 19 seconds left in round 3. Piccolotti finally locks in the rear naked choke.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in Banks. I know that's weird.
So?
I know that's weird to say, but man, it just like I felt he would deal with a pressure fighter a lot better since he's been training with Gaethje and those guys up there. But Piccolotti did a very smart thing. He allowed him to blow his wad in the first round, mm-hmm. and then he just kind of picked him apart and really sped it up. And then with his takedowns and not putting too much energy into his neck cranks when he had him. He was very patient and kept that leg lock in. Dude
constantly had a body figure 4 on him. Constantly. Piccolotti had Carrington on one. Literally the whole fight.
If you've never felt that on you, there was a kid I knew, Tyler Lindvall. He would put that on me, and it just felt like the whole world was squeezing out of my lungs.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible because every time you breathe, it gets a little tighter. It's like a constrictor, like a boa constrictor.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
So I feel bad for Banks, but
the guy in the back beating you, trying to choke your life out. I mean,
you don't know if you should go for the legs or go for the hands. That position is very tough to get out of. It was not defended well by Banks, for a professional fighter, but Piccolotti, man, he picked him apart.
He Piccolotti apart. It's dumb. Yeah, but
we're
trying to get Piccolotti on the show. So moving along here to
I hope he does. He's a beast.
The curtain jerker of Bellator. I'm sorry, UFC 224 now. Machida and Belfort, and this was a holy shit. Did you see that fucking shit moment?
Steven Seagal jizzed in his pants somewhere.
Crazy. I think Machida kicked Belfort in the face like he stole his morning urine.
I feel like he kicked him in the face like it was 2010.
That's his second like highlight reel front kick knockout now, dude.
All from the same camp. Machida and Anderson Silva. They were in the same camp for so long.
What the fuck?
Holy. I feel like that camp was just like, listen, we're going to get him again. Watch.
It's crazy, man.
Steven Seagal's going to be on the news talking about how he taught that kick to them again. God damn it.
Could be.
That was the most depressing day in UFC history to me. It was like, oh, great head kick. And then Steven Seagal going, I taught him that kick. I was like, fuck.
I don't know. I don't mind Steven Seagal. I mean, I think his martial art is probably mostly bullshit, but whatever. Let's go to the
Don't say that, must I say.
UFC prelims, Bellator prelims here. There's some highlights. UFC prelims, Alexei Olenek. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Another Ezekiel choke finish.
Yo, What is up with this?
This is 11th in his career now.
At
Junior
what point?
Albini. Come on, dude. Listen, I know his fucking Ezekiel choke must be like nothing else in the world, but if you know, like, that's all you should train.
I wouldn't even do anything else. And then he had him cut, like...
Crazy, man. Just crazy.
I know you took away the diaper, but come on, fam.
He did. Thank God he took away the diaper.
This looks so stupid.
And then how about the spinning wheel kick? That was crazy. Zaleski Dos Anjos over Strickland. I showed you on Twitter.
Right when I walk in.
It was like, holy Barbosa, right?
I was like, ooh.
And then what else? Dallas ladies against Jack Hermanson. Fucking Hermanson, man. He never ceases to amaze me. You talk about a tough motherfucker. He was in so much trouble in that first round. He even shrieked out loud twice, which I think constitutes a verbal tap. However, I'm glad they did it, and I don't necessarily agree with that rule. So he managed to fight through all that bullshit, and then fucking to come back and finish him the way that he did. And at the end of the fight, he said he actually broke his rib.
Oh.
And he said it was the most pain he's ever had. And then Bellator prelims, a couple of things I wanted to note. Darren Wynn, it was the very first fight of the night. Darren Wynn, he knocked out Ahmad White in round one. I just wanted to point out this was Ahmad White's pro debut. And
He'll be back.
he won't be.
Oh, he won't?
He was the very worst fighter I've ever seen in my entire life, okay? His hands were at his fucking sides like this. Like he was Roy. Okay, you know how Roy Jones would fight in his prime?
Yeah, but Roy Jones is Roy Jones.
This is my point. Roy Jones was Roy Jones. You know, he would get like the fucking...
Yeah, he had that swag.
But this guy was terrible. He had no fucking... Listen, look this fight up, people. Darren Williams from Bellator 199 prelims against Ahmad White. This motherfucker was the worst. I mean, please, listen, dude. I'm sure you can whoop my ass. I'm not saying that, okay? You would beat the fuck out of me. Okay, that's not saying much. I'm fat. I'm out of shape. I'm old. I have gray hair. I have fucking kids. My life is basically over. You could whoop my ass, okay? So don't come back at me like that's an achievement. If you're a fighter, though, you need to pick your hands up. I know that much. Come on. Anyway, that's my little rant for the day. And then Amber Liebrecht, she beat Janelle Harding. That was a fucking war. If you guys didn't see it, check that fight out. That was like the sleeper fight of the night out of all the night of fights. I hope to get Amber Liebrecht on the show because she impressed the fuck out of me.
I was on my way, but you kept raving about them, so I hope she is on the show, man, because I'm gonna rewatch those fights.
Not too many women. I don't know. Maybe I'm a creep. I don't know. I'm married. I am Not
a lot of women come on the show. You know what? I blame me.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna take responsibility. They found out I was single.
We got a busy week this week, though. We're going to be talking to the number 5 ranked bantamweight world, which I think is a crime. We're going to be talking to Jimmy Rivera this week. We're going to be talking to Manuel.
You know what? I don't even listen to those rankings. He is the number 1 ranked.
We're talking about Manuel Sanchez. We're going to be talking to Eric Anders. We're going to be talking to Zach Otto. We're going to be talking to Shorty Torres. We got a fucking crazy week coming up, guys. So we appreciate all of the support. And
check me up on Twitter. I think I'm going to be either at Riddles or Comedy Shrine Monday. I'm probably going to be at the Laugh Factory next Wednesday. I got some shows coming up, some things at the end of the month. So keep a lookout at Apollo T. Mahal. Obviously, you can see all my crazy tweets there. I anger a lot of people. This is the Did You See That Shit podcast, live.